Hi, I am Keith, and welcome to a very special episode of Up the Peak. This is the food episode. In this episode, I will talk about some of the foods I've eaten. Now, how I'm going to do this is I've taken a collection of clips from previous weeks and I put it into this one video. So if you're someone that's followed me and watched all the vlogs at this point, you don't have to watch this. Go watch something else. But for new people, or people that are curious about the food, I start with the week one when I talk about myfitnesspal. Now, of some of the things you should know is, at the core of my diet, I have certain things. Like, for example, for breakfast I will have oatmeal with a cup of coffee. For lunch and dinner, usually I have grilled chicken, some kind of steamed vegetable, and I try to do it interchangeable. You know, I'll have a sweet potato, I'll have a regular potato. I'll put some sour cream on the regular potato, I'll put butter and cinnamon on the sweet potato. It's all about interchanging things, keeping it new, keeping it interesting, having variety. Now, so I don't get burned out on the same exact things, I also mix in little dishes here and there. I haven't done it in a while because I've been kind of in cruise control right now with everything I've been eating. And I had so many things that I have plenty of things to pick from. Now, not everything is in this video. There are a few things that I haven't added. But, you know, it's like essentially the same things. It's a salad with tweaks. You know, like I'll make a normal salad, but instead of using, like dressing, I'll put in like a little bit of like a salsa and some sour cream with the grilled chicken. Now it's like a taco salad. You know, so it's all about creativity. Think of it, and I say this in the video, but I mean it. Think of it like a game. You have to figure out how to get in so many calories. Now, I don't know what your calorie intake is going to be. It's not going to be the same as mine. But some of these foods can still apply to you, whether you increase the portion or lower the portion. The important thing is that you don't starve yourself. So we're just going to go into it, and if anyone has any questions, please leave them in the comments. I will answer them the best that I can, and I hope this video can help you. Thank you for watching. So week one saw me getting back into things and finding my place. It was important to start off kind of slow, kind of gradual, without overdoing it or burning myself out. So for the diet part of it, I utilized a website called myfitnesspal.com. So what that is a website designed to help people like me, and even people not like me, to regulate what they're putting into their bodies. Basically, you create an account, you make a profile off that account, you tell them your age, your weight, how much you want to lose, what your goals are, and then it tells you what your daily input should be for calories and so on and so forth. So there's a food journal on MyFitnessPal that's broken into 4 categories: breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. And from there, it breaks down calories, carbs, fat, protein, sodium, and sugar. And down below, here we have what your daily totals are, what your goal is, and how much you've taken in, and how much you don't want to take in. It's really important to keep track of everything you're putting into your body. Now, with me dieting, I might want to try to rush it a little bit and maybe eat less than what I'm supposed to. Well, luckily, MyFitnessPal has a warning in place for that. If I go below the minimum amount of calories, it's going to tell me that with a warning. So this encourages me to eat more so I don't starve myself. It's a very useful website, and this is how I incorporated it into my diet. Now for breakfast, once again, with it being week one, I want to keep it relatively simple. So I have a bowl of oatmeal with a little bit of honey, some cinnamon for flavor, and a cup of coffee with some fat-free half and half in it. It's a complete breakfast, it's a filling breakfast, and it helps get me to lunch. And if I get a little hungry, that's where the snack section comes into place. What you do is, think of it like a game. You have so many calories that you're allowed to have per day, and now you have to find a way to stretch those out where you're not starving yourself, but you're not overdoing it. So you don't want to overdo it for any one of your meals, and you want to be able to have little snacks in between, because like anyone would probably tell you, you don't want to just eat 3 times a day. That's not very good for the metabolism. At least that's what I heard. Remember, I'm not a dietitian. I'm just telling you what works for me. So let's talk about lunch. Now, with lunch, I wanted to make a salad. When you're eating, whether it's healthy or unhealthy, it usually takes maybe 10, 15 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes to eat a meal. And then what? You're done, it's over. So I tried to trick my mind into saying, all right, instead of taking 15, 20 minutes to eat this unhealthy stuff, I'm going to do it to eat the healthier stuff. And in this case, my salad. Now, the salad consists of some greens, a tomato, a red pepper, cucumber, onion, hard-boiled egg, grilled chicken, mushrooms, some cheese, a fat-free vinaigrette, and some pepper. Get a food scale. They're very helpful to keep track of what you're taking in. Set it to 0. Don't forget that. And then as you add stuff, just keep track of it. Like the greens, 49 grams. Tomatoes, 34 grams. Cucumbers, 44 grams. Red peppers, so on and so forth. You want to know what you're eating. You want to keep track of it. This is what you know, the calories, the sodium, all of that stuff. The salad is an excellent choice because the salad's a variety of different flavors, and it takes time to eat it. And here are the calories from what my lunch is. And as you can see, it's very reasonable, and it's a very satisfying meal. For dinner, I like to grill a chicken breast on a George Foreman grill. I always weigh it to make sure how many ounces are in there. I also like to steam some vegetables, sweet potatoes. I like to have a little butter and a little cinnamon with it. It's a very hearty, filling meal, and it's low on calories, and it's all good for you. But I also did change it up a little bit. I added some more variety to my diet. Variety is really important. When you're losing weight, when you're trying to lose weight, you don't want to just eat the same thing every day. So what I did this week was I added a simple 3-ingredient meal to my diet. It was a shrimp pesto pasta, which consists of 50 grams of shrimp, 15 grams of pesto, and about 56 grams of pasta. It's real simple to cook. Boil the pasta. While that's boiling, you thaw out the shrimp. Then I like to fry the shrimp in a pan. I add the pesto in there. I mix it in, and then I add the pasta to it, mix it in, and it makes a quick, simple meal, and I add a salad to it for a little bit extra. I used a high-fiber Thomas English muffin. That's about 100 calories. I used a ragu pizza sauce. It's about 45 calories per serving. I used about half that. And I used a low-fat mozzarella cheese. I also added some veggies. So what I did was I got the English muffin. I put the sauce on it. I put down a slice of tomato on each one. I put down some mushrooms. I put the cheese on. And then I sprinkled some red pepper on top. I baked it in the oven at 400 degrees for about 11 minutes. It was a nice change up for the week. Added some more flavor, and I also had a salad with it So this week I decided to make a English muffin breakfast pizza. I used a high fiber Thomas English muffin. That's about 100 calories. I used an egg that I whipped up with a tablespoon of half and half, fat-free half and half. And then I dispersed the egg over the 2 English muffins. Now the good thing about the English muffin is when you're putting that egg in there, it just kind of seeps down in those little crevices, which is perfect for it. And then I put a slice of tomato on it, and then I put some mushrooms on it. Then I sprinkle some mozzarella cheese and some Velveeta cheese. Not a whole lot. It's all about the portions. You gotta limit the portions, but it's enough to where it's a little tasty breakfast pizza. Oh, and I sprinkle a little red pepper on top. It was a nice break from the oatmeal. It was a good treat. I really enjoyed it. Lunch, I decided to change up my salad one day. I made a tuna wrap. I used a can of tuna fish, which is about 120 calories. I used a tablespoon of Hellmann's fat-free mayonnaise. I think I should have used 2 because it was a little dry with just the one. I think if I make it again, I'm going to use 2 tablespoons. It's an extra 35 calories, but I think it's worth it for the flavor. I also put down some nice leafy green veggies and some sliced tomato. I did heat up the wrap before I put everything in it. Helps it fold better. It was a pretty good lunch. One night for dinner this week, instead of having the grilled chicken with the steamed veggies, I used the same flatbread to make a flatbread pizza. It was a much bigger pizza than last week, and it was pretty filling. It was a really good treat. Now, these foods that I've been making to change up the diet, they are still low calorie, but they're a bit higher in the sodium. But as long as you stay under your levels for sodium, you're still good to go. So this last week, I had an omelet, a 2-egg omelet with some peppers, onion, tomato, and some Velveeta cheese. Continue the diet. This week I had a cheeseburger. Now when I say I had a cheeseburger, I had a modified cheeseburger. I didn't have your traditional cheeseburger, but it was pretty close. I used 90% lean meat. I grilled it on a George Foreman grill. What I did was I actually used lettuce, like a shell. I sliced the tomatoes, I put them inside the lettuce, and then I sprinkled some mozzarella cheese in there, and then I put the burger on top. Then I put a little light mayo and a little tiny bit of ketchup, and then I wrapped it up in the lettuce and had like a lettuce burger. It was actually fantastic. This week with the diet, I essentially stuck with the same stuff, although I did revisit and tweak an old favorite from week 2, the pesto pasta. And I think it was week 2, I did it with a shrimp and a normal pesto. Well, this week I attempted it with a sun-dried tomato pesto and some of my grilled chicken. Pretty good. I think I'm a bigger fan of original pesto than the sun-dried, but I do like sun-dried tomatoes. And I bought this nifty little plastic steamer that I picked up for a few bucks at a local Walmart. And all you do is you take the fresh broccoli, and you cut off the parts that you want, which is the crowns. You put it in the steamer. There's the base. You put the water in. Then you put this tray in there. You put your broccoli on the tray, and you put a cover on there. And you stick it in the microwave for like 3 minutes. And it is like amazing. I do not want to go back to frozen broccoli ever again. As chicken breast, green pepper, olive oil, fat-free balsamic vinaigrette, cayenne pepper, salt, I use sea salt, some garlic cloves, a red onion. While the oven's preheating, I boil the chicken. While the chicken is boiling, I start prepping everything else. So I get a mixing bowl. The first thing I do is I minced up the garlic, put that in the bowl. Then I chopped up the onion, I put that in the bowl. Once they're in the bowl, now I start adding everything else. So I add the cayenne pepper, and then I add some sea salt, and then I do a tablespoon of olive oil, extra virgin, and then I do a tablespoon of the fat-free balsamic vinaigrette. I mix that in really good. Once the chicken is ready, I shred the chicken, and then I mix it in with the other good stuff. I mix it up all nice and good. The green peppers are cut in halves, and they're cleaned out of the inside. And I sprayed some Pam spray on the outside of the peppers per the recipe I got, which I will post the recipe in the description below. So now I stuff in all the good stuff, and then I wrap it in foil, and then I stick it in the oven for about 35 minutes. Once it's done, I pull it out, and then I sprinkle. Now, the recipe itself calls for a slice of provolone. What I used was some of the low-fat, great value mozzarella cheese. I used about 7 grams of mozzarella cheese on each one. So then, once you put the cheese on, you put it back in the oven, and you let it go for like another 5, maybe 10 minutes. I think I did it for maybe 8 minutes. So where the cheese is nice and melted, maybe bubbling a little bit. It is an awesome meal. 1/2 of the pepper is about 130, 35 calories. So if you eat 1 whole pepper stuffed, it's about 260, 70 calories. It's filling, it's delicious, it's something different. I made strawberry shortcake. I used these ladyfingers from my local grocery store. They were about 40 calories. I could have used more, but, I like to keep things at smaller portions. Ready Whip, that's about 10 grams, that was 30 calories. And then I used about 2 ounces of fresh cut-up strawberries. It was a great dessert. It's real quick to make, and it's delicious. I found a garlic Alfredo that wasn't as bad with the sodium, and it wasn't too bad with the calories. Like 1 serving of this is 60 calories. So what I did was, I didn't even use a full serving. I chopped up the broccoli, I steamed the broccoli, I grilled up the chicken. Now, here's one of the things, here's a little tip that I do. And I really like this. When I'm prepping the meal, I put the chicken on the George Foreman grill almost right away, because that gives that time to cook while I'm prepping the other stuff for the meal. In this case, that was grilling while I was preparing the broccoli. It doesn't take long to do this. That's the beauty of this. Sometimes people will be like, well, you know, eating healthy can be a real pain. It takes a long time to prepare the food. Not really. Like I said, I throw the chicken on the grill. I cut up the broccoli. I've got that nifty steamer I showed you in a previous video. 3 minutes in the microwave. My veggies are hot, fresh, and steamed to perfection. And my chicken gets done shortly thereafter. And in this case, what I did for this meal was I cut up the chicken. So I put down the broccoli, I put on the cut up chicken, and then I measured out the exact amount of the Alfredo sauce. Now, don't go by the numbers you see on the scale in this video, because I doubled that later on for another meal, and it was still incredibly low in calories and lower in sodium, and it was really filling. And most importantly, it was delicious. I have another cup of coffee, but this time I have a Biscotti. Now I get these Nanis, I think it's pronounced, Biscottis. They've got a triple chocolate, they've got a lemon, they've got a turtle pecan. There was a salted caramel one that I really enjoyed, but that was also higher in sodium, so I've been avoiding that and just kind of been sticking with the other ones. Some of the other snacks I like to have throughout the day are these Quaker granola bars. I buy this nice big value pack at BJ's wholesale. Usually it's about 60 granola bars in a box, and it's got chocolate chip and peanut butter chocolate chip. And this last time I bought one, they had the dark chocolate chip, which those are pretty awesome too. So these are good light calorie snacks. They're about 100 calories for the main ones, and then the dark chocolate one's about 90 calories. So it's good to sneak it in there in between the meals. I also like these Sun Maiden yogurt chocolate covered raisins. They're pretty good. They're about 110 calories for a package. You know, it's a good way to get like your sweet fix, your chocolate fix. I also like frozen ice. I've got this frozen ice. They're about 100 calories a piece that I really enjoy. So as you can see, I still get plenty of snacks. Oh yeah, and I forgot. I also get to snack on pretzels. Occasionally peanuts. I haven't had peanuts in a few weeks. Now, a lot of these snacks you might say, well, there's a lot of sugar in those. Well, there isn't as much as you think, but there is some sugar. But right now, because of the stage I'm at with the weight loss, and the fact that the weight loss is still coming off, I don't have to give those up yet. Now, the plan is when I hit a plateau, then I'm going to start weaning out those and start snacking on more fruits. I don't think I've been getting enough fruits, so I'm going to work in fruits. I do have bananas. I do snack on bananas, occasionally an apple, but not nearly as much as I should.